Imagine carrying around the humiliation of your most important teenage night for 9 long years. Imagine being laughed at, embarrassed in front of your classmates, and never getting the chance to strike back. Well, this brother never forgot. And when the perfect moment finally came, he didn't just get even, he destroyed his sister's wedding day in the coldest way possible. If you've ever dreamed about serving justice to someone who humiliated you, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready, because this is one of the most brutally satisfying revenge stories you'll ever hear. Part 1. Childhood Rivalry. Growing up in a small town, siblings often tease each other. It's normal. But for Jake and his sister Melissa, the jokes started lighthearted: rubber spiders in lunchboxes, swapped homework folders, silly pranks that had everyone laughing. At first, it was harmless fun. But as they grew older, something shifted. Melissa's pranks didn't stay silly, they became cruel. She loved having the last laugh, even if it cut deep. And Jake? He took it. Quietly. Patiently. Part 2. The Prom Incident. Prom night. For a teenage boy, it's supposed to be a rite of passage. A night where you dress sharp, feel grown up, maybe even get a first real taste of romance. Jake had been looking forward to it for months. He'd rented the tux, got the corsage, even worked odd jobs to save up for dinner. But Melissa had other plans. She snuck into the bathroom earlier that day and switched his shampoo with hair removal cream. Jake didn't notice at first. He showered, toweled off, combed his hair. But within minutes, clumps started falling out. His hands filled with strands of hair. He froze, staring in the mirror as bald patches spread across his scalp. Panic. Embarrassment. Rage. His heart pounded as he ran his fingers over the damage. By the time he realized what had happened, it was too late. He had no choice but to shave his head completely. And that night, under the prom lights, he felt every stare, every whisper, every laugh. Melissa's laughter echoed the loudest. For Jake, it wasn't just a prank. It was betrayal. Humiliation. A night meant for memories was stolen from him. And in that moment he made himself a promise. One day, she'll pay for this. Part 3. The Waiting Years. Life moved on. Jake finished school, went to college, built a career. He got steady work, a good paycheck, and maturity that Melissa never seemed to find. On the outside, he looked like he'd let the prank go. But inside, he never forgot. Every haircut reminded him. Every time he looked in the mirror, he remembered that night of humiliation. And when Melissa announced her dream wedding 9 years later, a huge event, funded by both families and her wealthy fiancé, Jake finally saw it. The perfect stage. The perfect timing. The perfect revenge. Part 4. The Setup. The night before the wedding was chaos. Bridesmaids running around, hairdressers busy, the house buzzing with anticipation. Melissa was glowing, talking about her future, fussing over details. Jake kept a low profile, acting like the dutiful brother. But inside, his mind raced. He had brought with him a small, unassuming bottle, the same weapon Melissa had used against him almost a decade ago. Hair removal cream. And when the house finally quieted down, when Melissa was asleep and the bridal prep supplies sat lined up neatly in the bathroom, Jake made his move. He carefully swapped her expensive shampoo with the cream. He double-checked, his pulse pounding. 9 years of waiting. 9 years of planning. Tomorrow, justice would arrive. Part 5. The Wedding Morning. The sun rose on what was supposed to be the happiest day of Melissa's life. She woke early, humming, ready to start her bridal prep. She lathered her hair with shampoo, blissfully unaware. But minutes later, as strands slid off her scalp into her hands, panic set in. She screamed. Bridesmaids rushed in. There was confusion, chaos, and then horror as her hair came out in clumps. The bride-to-be stood there, trembling, staring into the mirror at her ruined reflection. Her dream wedding, destroyed before it even began. Melissa refused to be seen. She locked herself in her room, sobbing, makeup smearing. The ceremony? Cancelled. Guests were notified last minute that there'd be no wedding, just a reception-turn-party. And Jake? He arrived at that reception with a quiet, satisfied smile. Part 6. The Reveal. Word spread quickly. Family members whispered, guests speculated. And when the truth finally came out, that Jake had been the one to sabotage her, that he had waited 9 years to deliver poetic justice, the reactions were split. Her parents were furious, but deep down, they understood. They remembered what Melissa had done to him. The guests? They couldn't help but laugh. It was cruel, yes, but undeniably satisfying. Melissa had ruined Jake's prom. And now, Jake had ruined her wedding. An eye for an eye. Balance restored. Picture it, the grand hall decorated with flowers, music playing, guests eating, drinking, laughing. Everyone but the bride was there. Melissa hid upstairs, humiliated, her big day stolen. And Jake? He stood among the crowd, finally free from the weight of his teenage humiliation. 9 years of patience had paid off. And the best part? Everyone knew it. He wasn't just avenging himself, he was showing his sister, once and for all, that actions have consequences. Revenge is rarely neat. But sometimes? It's poetic. Jake's story reminds us that cruelty can echo for years, and so can justice. Melissa learned the hard way. The past has a way of catching up with you. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell us in the comments. Did Jake go too far, or was this the perfect revenge? And of course, subscribe for more stories that prove sometimes karma has a wicked sense of humor.